What's going on, YouTube? It's Tyler from Mission VR, where it's my mission to bring you guys good quality VR content. So first things first, thank you guys so much for being subscribed to my channel. If you are subscribed, I've hit 220 subscribers. I'm pretty excited about it. I know it's not a big number, but you know, every little bit counts, and it's nice to see some support, and I really appreciate that support. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that sub button. I'm bringing a ton of VR content. I'm really excited and passionate about it, and I'm loving doing these videos for you guys. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and smash that like button on this video. Also, check out my social media accounts. I'm posting game clips and, you know, stuff to those all the time. And also check out the Discord server that I started. It's, you know, going to be a community for VR players that are looking to play with other players, you know, when they don't have somebody else to play with. So without further ado, let's talk about today's video. We are going to be talking about 7 of the most anticipated upcoming VR shooters, and I had to do 7 because I just couldn't fit all of these games on a list of 5 like I typically do. And really, these are 7 games that are pretty exciting and definitely are something to look forward to if you're into the shooter market. Now, I tried to stick with games that are primarily shooter games and not necessarily story games you can pick up a gun in, but there are some games on this list that are kind of right on the edge of that. So with that being said, keep that in mind, that you have some of these games that might be right on the edge of a shooter and, you know, an adventure action-packed game. So without further ado, let's hop on into this video. Alright, so with the first game on our list, we have Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, a VR action-packed World War II shooter. And this game is being developed by Respawn Entertainment, which so far they've actually delivered on some games of recent, so I think it's definitely one to look forward to. This game is going to have, I mean, a lot of the things that we're looking for in a shooter, and it's going to be set in World War II, which is pretty exciting. And honestly, this game is one that I've got my eye on big time because there really hasn't been a solid World War II VR shooter yet. There's definitely some stuff in the works, but nothing along the lines of this. This game looks like a AAA title, and so far they're toting it to be like a full-on Medal of Honor game, which if you've ever played any of the Medal of Honor games of the past, you know that typically they do a pretty good job, and this one's built from the ground up for VR, so I think this is going to be pretty exciting, and I know that many people, including myself, are really looking forward to stepping into the shoes of a soldier fighting in World War II and have a full immersive story-based experience. So I'm hoping this game does have some multiplayer shooter aspects to it as well, but that's remained to be seen, and this is definitely one to keep your eye on for the future. Alright, with the next pick on our list here, we have Population 1 VR Battle Royale. And quite frankly, if you have a VR headset and you've had it for some time, there's a pretty good chance that you've heard about this game, as right now it is probably one of the most anticipated games coming up of this year because it literally looks like Fortnite, but better and in VR. And as much as I don't have good things to say about Fortnite, you know, the Battle Royale genre is a lot of fun to play, especially if you have friends to play with, and this game looks like a pretty polished AAA VR Battle Royale experience where you're going to be able to climb everything in the world, fly anywhere, build anything, and doing all that while fighting other players in a Battle Royale scenario. So I think this game definitely has some potential. The guns look fun, the attachments you can add to them look like they're a blast, and hopefully the gunplay is pretty good. This game is going to be cross-platform between all the games, and supposedly they have a technology that they've worked on to really heavily reduce motion sickness, which I know for some people being able to fly off the top of a building and not get motion sick would be a pretty neat feature. Now, that being said, I'm not really sure how much better they could really make it because, I mean, at this point, you pretty much just have to get your VR legs, and it does come with time, but there are still some people that do get motion sick, so it'll be really interesting to see how they implement this into the game, and this is definitely one to keep your eye on, especially if you're into shooters, and then if you're into Battle Royale, this is definitely going to be the best Battle Royale VR game available on the market, and it is coming soon. Alright, with the next pick on this list, we have After the Fall, which is a game that really is one of those kind of mixed games that's not fully a shooter, but there's plenty of shooting in it. And this game just had to be on this list because it's very anticipated and it's looking pretty epic. Now, this game is from the creators of Arizona Sunshine, which if you have played is a good zombie shooter, and it definitely offers a lot, and it's one of the more popular VR games of this date. And coming from that studio, they know how to do zombies. And in this world, you're going to be not only fighting zombies, but you're also going to be fighting really large giant bosses, and this kind of gives you a winter Gears of War vibe, honestly, and the game looks really good, and it's touting itself as not only a VR shooter but also a survival game. And there's going to be a lot of things going on in this game. You're going to be able to craft your weapons, upgrade your gear, and, there's a ton of guns, melee weapons. The physics of the combat looks pretty good, and there is a story mode in this game. And not only is there a story mode, but after you complete the story mode, there's a big open world which you're going to be able to go out on missions and continue to do. So I'm hoping that this game has a nice difficulty factor into it, because once you complete the story, I'm sure if you're going to be teamed up with friends, you're going to want to go on epic raids and missions out in the world, and hopefully they are challenging, because that'll continue to bring replay value to the game. But this game absolutely looks fantastic. It's got AAA level graphics, and if it's anything like Arizona Sunshine, it's going to be a good game. And I think that that's really what has going for this game, is that it's from the makers of Arizona Sunshine, which is a fantastic game. And if anyone knows how to do zombies, it's them, and they've got all the mechanics down. So it definitely looks like a really polished VR experience, and to be able to do it with your friends in a survival-esque open world, it's going to be a lot of fun. So this is definitely one to keep your eye on, and definitely pick it up whenever it is released. So with the next game on this list, quite frankly, I'm not going to lie, this is the game that I am most looking forward to, as it looks pretty insane. And this is Frostpoint VR Proving Grounds. And this is a team-based shooter with a twist in it. And it pits 10 people on 10 people, for objective-based game modes. But at the same time, there's going to be PvE elements in this game, as you're not only going to be fighting other players, but there's going to be biomechanical hazards throughout the entire map, and it's set in the Antarctic in an abandoned military base. And this game looks really, really cool. And we don't know a whole lot about the PvE side of things. I mean, I can just imagine being in a team base trying to take a point and be fighting each other and having your team working together and working hard to take over the point. All of a sudden, both teams have to stop fighting each other and deal with a massive onslaught of a horde of zombie-esque creatures, or boss-like creatures that come into the area. In order to survive, you have to kill them, and at the same time you're fighting others. So this game definitely looks really interesting. And when you get a shooter like this, when you're fighting against other players, I think the most important thing is to not have too much dullity in it. And honestly, sometimes that happens. You can't find anybody around the map. I really like the fact that this is 10 on 10. I just hope that plenty of players hop into the game, so you're not in light lobbies, and that you have plenty of players to play with. So that's my only concern, is that 10 vs 10, finding 20 players for a single match sometimes can be difficult depending on the game's popularity. But if this game takes off the way I think it is, I don't think that's going to be a problem, and I do think it is going to be a lot of fun to have your shooter-esque mechanics where you're, reloading your gun and you're fighting, and all of a sudden you have to turn around and deal with a massive horde of mutants coming at you whilst fending off other players. So this is definitely going to be one to keep your eye on, and I can't say I'm more excited about this game, because it looks so interesting, and definitely going to be a buy on day one for me. So with the next game on our list here, we have Vertigo 2. And this is kind of a unique title. And this is one of those ones that I spoke about in the beginning that, kind of doesn't fit the narrative of multiplayer VR shooter, because there is no multiplayer in it. But it has a lot of shooting mechanics, and I definitely think that it's one to keep your eye on as an anticipated upcoming shooter, just because there's plenty of shooting that goes on in the game. And it definitely seems to be a more story-based game. But from the looks of it, it looks like a pretty solid AAA-esque type experience, where you're going to be, fighting and going through a storyline with plenty of different unique weapons, fully voiced characters, and dozens of enemy types, with plenty of lore that goes into the world. So it's one to keep your eye on if you like story-based games, and it definitely looks like it has an interesting story going about it. But it's one that, kind of doesn't fit the multiplayer VR shooter narrative, but definitely has a lot of shooting mechanics, and I felt that, it is a highly anticipated game coming up, and if you like story, adventure, and shooting all combined, this is definitely one to keep your eye on. Alright, so with this game, we have Sniper Elite VR, and how could I make a most anticipated upcoming shooters list and not include a Sniper Elite game that has been built from the ground up for VR? This game looks pretty intense, and it wants to put you in the shoes of a World War II sniper in Italy, and quite frankly, there just hasn't been anything done like this before, and as we all know, if you've playing VR shooters, sniping in VR can sometimes be difficult unless you're using a gun stock, but apparently they have a solution for this, and we are going to see how that plays out on the screen. So it'll be definitely interesting, but there's going to be a free movement system, with levels where you're going to be able to explore the whole level and find different and unique sniping spots, and they're still going to have their X-ray kill cam. It's going to be designed for VR, and hopefully it doesn't make anybody sick, that switching of screens, and I'm sure that they have thought about that and worked it out. But there's going to be tons of authentic World War II weapons, and I know that I'm personally excited to hop on top of a building somewhere and start shooting some Nazis. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I love sniping in VR games, even though I don't have a gun stock, but it can definitely be fun and challenging at the same time. So I think this game is definitely one to keep your eye on if you're looking into VR shooters. I do hope that there is a multiplayer at some point in this game where you're pit against others and a snipe off, and that'll be pretty fun to see. So this game is definitely one to keep your eye on, especially if you love World War II and you love VR shooters. All right, and with the final game on this list, we have Solaris Off-World Combat. And this game looks pretty intense. It's an arena-based shooter similar to that of like an Overwatch or something like that, or an Echo Arena VR shooter. And it just has some unique things about it that look pretty good. The combat looks really fast-paced. You're going to be able to jump and slide around corners, shooting, picking up new weapons along the way for objective-based combat. It's 4-on-4, which means you're more than likely going to be able to find full lobbies pretty easily, and the game just looks intense. It looks like a lot of fun, and as much as it may not be quite as accurately polished or realistic as some of the other VR shooters, it definitely has a lot of that arena shooter elements to it. And I know that right now there really isn't a ton, if any, really arena shooters in VR. I mean, Echo Combat was about the only thing, and not a ton of people play that. More people still play Echo Arena, so it'll be interesting to see how this game goes. And just from the gameplay trailer alone, it looks like it could be a lot of fun. So it's one to keep your eye on for sure, especially if you're into arena-based combat and and you're going to be able to do it shooting in a fast-paced setting like this. So it will be a lot of fun, and I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Well, guys, that is it for this video. Please drop a like and subscribe to my channel. I'm really enjoying bringing you guys these videos, and I do appreciate all the support and all the nice comments that I get. So thank you all very much for that, and I will see you guys in the next one.